Right. This is called My Lonely Heart. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. Now I'll sing it. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. My lonely heart. My lonely heart, I feel the pain in me. My lonely heart, I feel the pain inside. It's like an arrow in my heart. It's like an arrow in my heart. Lonely dreams, I still see her there. Lonely dreams, I still see her there. In my vision, in my dreams. In my vision, in my dreams. Day and night the pain is there. And in my eyes, my mind it shows. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. My lonely heart. The days are long when you're not there. The day is sad when you're not by my side. It's like a forest that has died. It's like a forest that has died. Lonely dreams I see, still see you there. In my vision and in my dreams. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. Lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. My lonely heart, I cry my heart to you. That's that one. One more here. This is a true story, by the way. I met someone today. I met someone today, someone special in his own way. He came as a man and left as a woman. I met someone today, someone special in his own way. He came as a man and left as a woman. The day was calm, the day was fresh, it was a sunny day. In my mind and in my eyes of looking, I spoke to him, he spoke to me, then he told me, I take everyone in what they say, and everyone is different in their own way. I looked at him, he looked at me, and changed into a flower, pastel eyes and cherry lips, and hair blonde in less than an hour. He took my mind by surprise, pastel eyes, pleasant view to see. The day was calm, the day was fine. It was a sunny day in my mind, and in my mind, and in my eyes of looking. I met someone today, someone special in his own way. He came as a man and left as a woman. I had a special day. In my mind I met someone new, riding his bike on a sunny day. In my mind I knew he was coming. Right, that's that one. Now, we talk about Slide, Sir Slide, the old man himself. And it's in connection with this number nines and all this lot. And brainwashing me. They used to move me from house to house and places to places with chloroform. I don't know if I was sexually abused in any way, I have no idea. But we are talking to somebody 4.5. And eventually, after all the brainwashing, they took me to Grimsby Docks. And they took me up these steep stairs. I think one of them was Northern Trawlers or Boston Trawlers on the left, and on the right it was, I can't remember what it was, but it had red seats in it and a big table. Anyhow, there was a load of people there, and Slight was there, a tall bloke. And his two sons are shorter. They'd be about 25 at the time, I would surmise. And anyhow, I had to sign all these crosses. Just sign them. I wouldn't sign them while he was there. He had to go out the room. I didn't like him. I remember Ron Telford, my other father, said to me, don't sign out. But they just bullied me, and I was 4.5. I had no guardians there out. and I signed a lot of papers with a lot of crosses. And then he came in and he said, "Is that all? Are we all right at that?" And the solicitor turned around and said, "Yeah, it's all above board." It wasn't. I was four. I had no guardian. I was robbed, and that's all to do with the Yarboroughs and higher up the bracket, as I've been saying. So it's all malicious what they've been doing against me. And like I said, the chloroform, I don't know if I was sexually abused by any of these bastards. I have no idea. But I'm telling the truth. I'll have a lie detector. I'll have a blood test. They can put me in a trance and see what comes out. But I'll tell you what, I want a judge, high-ranking police officer, and an high official in the church, and some standbys like the press. So nothing can be hidden. I'm willing to do it. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Let's see what else we can see while I'm in such a good mood. Oh. I bet I'll read that one, it's a sad one. It's called Yesterday's Children. It's unbelievable. But not today. Not today. I'm sorry about the delay, but all this will be cut out, dear sir. Oh, by the way, when I went to Ireland with Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, I have to mention this, when we got to the place where his sister was, it was a big white farmhouse. And it might sound like I'm repeating myself, but there's something important I have to say. He did come back and he wasn't happy. And he just sat in the car for a minute or two, then all of a sudden she came walking through. She had long ginger hair, wearing a skirt and a cardigan. And she was a wonderful lass, a wonderful person. It's an hard family to understand until you get into it. And she just stood there and he turned to me. And he said to me, "Go on, John, go on." And then I went to her, and she gave me a big hug. Then I left with the President of America. I don't have to lie. What this country has done to me is wrong. Our Houses of Parliament can turn their back on a young lad. I think I must have been 6 when I walked through the Houses of Parliament with Black Rod. Every one of them turned their back on me. I had orders from Buckingham Palace. She renounced me from the family. So, Charles, you can't have it. It's mine. And if his older lad thinks he's having it, he can't have it. If you try to pinch it, there's people know it. You'll cause an uprising, I'm sure of it. There'll be no happiness coming from that family if you do what you've done. And all I say is, God save England. We have racial discrimination. It's a wonder with the Irish and the Chinese and that what built the roads years and years ago. It's a wonder if these people aren't tearing the roads up. You don't see them tearing the roads up, do you? You don't see the Israelites coming back to tear the pyramids down, do you? Eh? It's all a play act. It's a play act to get into the system and have MPs representing their beliefs. And everybody's entitled to beliefs, but don't do it by lies and deceit, by manipulating innocent black people. What do have a right? Everybody's got a right to live. And I'll tell you what, I knew a girl called Evelyn Hardy. She was a sod to me. She was black, very attractive. She had a big hair with all the knots and the bows in it. And the parents found out. This was St Peter's School. It's the Church of England. And we used to go to church once a week. Sunday every bloody day. And she was spiteful like, and she used to trap my hands in the drawer because it's a double drawer. And one day she forgot and I slammed it on it and sat on it. She never did it anymore. But she was sat with a friend and the mother come like and that wasn't happening. So they insisted that they moved her and they moved her somewhere else and they moved her again. And in the end she sat with me. She sat with me the rest of the time at St Peter's School. Wherever she sat, I sat with her. And then she went to Beacon Hill. But I must say, at St Peter's School, nobody called her black. Nobody called her any names. I can honestly say that. I never heard anybody have a nasty word against her. She was spiteful, but nobody really liked. She got on with everybody. She was always laughing and skipping and doing what she was doing. And then she went to Beacon Hill. I went to Beacon Hill. I was in the same class group, and I walked over to her. Kind of programmed in a way to sit with her. And she was sat with her friend, and she turned around and said, "You don't have to sit with me anymore, John." And I walked away. I never really spoke to her from that day on. And then I met her on the dock. She was working in a fish factory. And I don't know what it was, but I still didn't speak to her. I had nothing against the lass, but she died in the end, but that's a different story. But when she was at Beacon Hill, nobody called her. She was happy as a day. And what I'm trying to say is, it's not the children to blame, it's the pissing parents. And you only need an handful. You only need one apple in a container to ruin the rest. That's it. It's the same as goody goods. And half of these goody goods were troublemakers at school. And they used to get the smack. And their kids are arseholes and all. But they make it possible now that they don't get a smack and they can still do what they're doing. It's the same as those lads what I attacked at the school in the infant, St Peter's, and got the cane for. And then I went to Beacon Hill and the big fight started. They was going to get me. I have to tell you, it's because it's true. And now, it was getting ready to leave the line. There's about 3 classes, so there'll be about 50 to 60 lads in that changing room. And I heard one of them say, "Are we going for him?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "You come in." He said, "Well, if you get him on the floor, we'll join you." There was 8 of them, and they came for me. And they weren't coming to hit me, they were coming to kill me. I know that for a fact. And anyhow, I stood my ground and took them on. I never felt a punch. And I was hitting them. And when I looked round, everybody had moved out the way. They'd never seen anything like it. had gone berserk, but still in control. And they ended up under the seats. They couldn't go behind the seats. Could you, John Stenhouse? You couldn't get under there because he was the ringleader. And I'll come about something about he did in the past. I'm returning favours, John, by the way. John Stenhouse. And anyhow, there was on the floor. And it was nice to hear the bullies. You know what they're saying? I want me mummy, I want me daddy, I want me mummy. Can you anybody help us, help us, help us? Can anybody help us? They're going to kick the shit out of me. One of the prefects was written this, and another prefect shut off. And the gym teacher come back. And he just looked at me and said, John, sit down. And I sat down. He said, you lot, out, 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 out. And they all went out. You eight of them, to the headmaster now. And they went. The following morning, I got to school. None of the sods were there. Weeks and weeks and weeks passed. I said, where are they? I don't know. After about 3 months, the bastards came back. John Stenhouse and all that. Thought it, started again, so I put him in his place. Didn't like it. Anyhow, that was more or less it. And then I kept asking about this lad called Bolton. So where is he? Oh, I don't know where he is. I'll tell you when you see him, I'm going to give him a good bloody hiding. 7 months passed. And somebody came up to me and said something. I said, you are? He said the following day after you hit him, he's been in hospital for 7 months. Well, he deserved it. Do you know, nothing was said. Nothing was said to me. The police weren't involved, nothing. It was just like nothing had happened. But I'm speaking today about it. You know, I want a violent person, but I do stand my ground. I won't let people bully me and do what they don't matter if they've got money. It's like Barry Lingard next door. He's not there now, he's passed on. Best place for him. He was a bully. And you know something, a bully businessman. And nobody would say a word to him in this town because they're scared of him. I was the only one that stood to him. You know what he said to me after 20 years of fighting? He even took me to court. We even argued at court. Anyhow, he turned around and said, I have never ever come across anybody like you. It doesn't matter who they are, what money they've got or whatever. You'll stand your ground with them. And he said, I wish I never picked on you. I said, well, you did. And you do think I'm forgiving you for what you've done? I haven't. I'll fight you to the end of your grave. And I wished him to die of cancer. And I wished him to lose everything. In a year and a half he did. He lost everything. That was a nice wish for me. I do make wishes and they do come true. So these people what think they've had the years and everything's over me, if the power's mine, God help them. I've got 5,000 people to go through, and I'll go through them. I said to my brother one day, my older brother, I said, who's my father? He said, as far as I'm concerned, Ron is. I said, he's not though, is he? I said, the King of England's my father. With his wife. He just looked at me. I said, you don't know it all, do you? He said, no, I don't know it all. No. He said, you've got to prove it. I said, I don't have to prove anything. Just remember one thing. Who is my father? And before you say anything, remember one thing. If you lie to me and the power comes to me, you'll leave the country with a shopping bag. Do you understand me? Now, who's my father? And he said, the King of England. You've got to prove it. I don't have to prove out to you or anybody else. I'm telling you who I am now. So there you go. That's the end of the story. I don't have to lie. Just because I'm not in a suit, I'm more or less dressed the same, but I wash myself, wash my clothes. What's the point of getting dressed up when you're in the middle of a bloody field? Eh? Got a fantastic life. Better life than the Royals. I could sit there all day writing. I do write. I wrote 8 books in less than 8 months. Believe it or not. One book had 16,000 words in it. Some of them got 20 and 20. Teddy and the Blonde Boy and The Man in the Moon, I've written 3 more books of them. They've got 45,000 words in them. I've written 2 thrillers. They've got around 20 odd thousand. I've written over 100,000 poems and songs. Besides what I have got at this present moment, I have 500 poems and songs, if not more. That's 500. You know, William Shakespeare was a great writer, but let's put the story right about William. Did you know he committed suicide? He died on the day he was born to the minute he was born of that year and month. That's suicide. He was taking medication and drinking. He went to Gallows Wood and looked up and went home and did it. Right, near the end of this, what I'm going to say went wrong, so we're just making good again. And anyhow, it started off with number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9. X, 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 number 9. And then it'd go to a white centre and then come back again and broad out to, and then it'd come again, the 9s and the 9s and the X's. And I had to look at it. I had my breakfast first in the morning, then I'd be called into to it, and there was 2 blokes in there, and one on monitor watching the traffic and everything. And anyhow, what happened then was he said make sure he doesn't take his eyes off it, and he's on there for 15 minutes. He said 15 minutes? He says yeah. And he has 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon. And that was happening. And then when it come to the afternoon, I had my 15 minutes, I was shattered. I was exhausted, thumping headache, I couldn't sleep at night. And then it had happened the following day, and this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, and it's just a way to break your mind down. I was 4.5. I was 4.5. All this was to take farm mistakes off me. And my father knew what's going on, but these are lords and ladies, and in the 50, you know, in the Royals, you couldn't say boo to those sort of people. The nation was scared of them. And anyhow, Ron Taffer said to me, he said, don't sign that. But after having him for weeks and weeks, it just went at me head, and they got it. And Sir Michael was there, big tall bloke, bald. His sons are small blokes, and George and Michael. And swipping around a bit, George even come with his wife, a ginger head, to the old man's house to have a meal on Sunday. Couldn't stand the bloke. I didn't know where he was coming from, I didn't recognise him. And then he'd come another Sunday, you know. And the first Sunday he'd come, I just pissed off out. There was mad as a ass. But I wasn't one for eating anyhow. And that's how it was. They just completely robbed me. Anyhow, later on, like, it wasn't longer when this poisoning went on, it's much the same time. And I was in a supermarket. I'm not going to name the supermarket in question because it wasn't their fault. And I'm walking down the aisles with the wife, like, with the biscuits there, and she's got the biscuits in the trolley, and I move forward, like, I'm halfway down the aisles, and she's asking about doing something, no women alive. And there's a gang of people behind her. It seemed like they were trying to push us. Anyhow, I see this bloke and woman mumming about, and the bloke went psst. And the woman was looking like and gave him nod that everything was okay when he did it. And I thought he was just doing like a perfume or under the armpit thing of smell. And I walked into it, sniff it, couldn't smell it, and these two assholes had disappeared. And then I started getting violent headaches. I felt a little bit sick, but not like vomiting really bad or like that. I wasn't sick, I just felt like being sick. But I've got a stronger body than most people, you know what I mean? It's served me well up to now, how my body's taken the attacks from this side of the families. And anyhow, I started to bleed from the nose and the ears and the mouth and everywhere like that at the top of the head, like, and then it would stop after a day or two, and it just turned to like pus on the boil coming through my nose and my ears and my eyes, and then it stopped and it bleed again, and this went on for about 2 weeks. I said to them, and I'm you know, it's cold weather and down here, no pissing eating or out. And the wife's at home and I didn't know how old she was. Everything was kept away from me. She kept it away from me. And anyhow, she died in the end. And I'm waffling on, so I'll go back to what I was saying. And I went to the doctors. And it was like, trying to get an appointment with the doctor's like being in the Third Reich, and you have to show your swastika to get in. And I got him. I didn't see my doctor, I saw a gentleman doctor, and he checked me over like. And he gave me these tablets, and these tablets get rid of gonorrhea and harden the bone tissue up, and if you're hemorrhaging inside, it stops the hemorrhaging, or if you've got ulcers, it clears the ulcers up. There's a bit where it helps to fight cancer as well. This was strong tablets. And he gave me 28 of these tablets to take. And it cleared them up like. And I got over it. And I went to see my own doctor like, and she said, how are you getting on? I said, I'm all right, thank you. She said, what about you? I said, yeah, do you want any more? I said, no, I'm quite all right at the present moment. She said, where do you think you got it from? And I told her I got it from the supermarket. And this bloke was spraying and this woman was keeping an eye up. I said it was an hit on me. I've even told my doctor, who my father is, you know, I ain't got nothing to hide. Have a nice day, because I'm having one myself. Bye.